From the studios of KENW on the campus of Eastern New Mexico University, it's You Should Know, featuring the people and events of Eastern New Mexico and West Texas.
We're going to help you today avoid having a National Lampoon Christmas at your house. At least one part of it, the part where the lights don't work. And I'm here with John DeCosmo, and John is president of Ulta-Lit Tree Company. And John, tell me about Ulta-Lit Tree Company.
Certainly. So this is a company I began in January of 1996, and it became a hyper focus for us to sell only trees with light sets attached. Today, we know that to be more the norm, but at that time, there was only one other company, ironically, in Chicago, that would do this, and that's how we started. Then we've evolved. We started an intense focus on light set repair in the year 2001, and have concentrated on that. And we've invented and developed some products that are in over 10,000 stores in the United States in the fourth quarter of every year. But that process of getting there was a long one. And fast forward to today, we're a company doing well with the light set repair tools, but studying good complements to artificial tree, good fragrance options for consumers.
Sounds great to me. Let's first, we'll get to your product, and I want you to demonstrate it for me and let people see how this magic device you have for sale works. But first, let's give people advice on how to prepare for decorating with Christmas lights. What are some things, I get them out of the storage shed, what are some things I ought to do before I hang them up or when I hang them up?
The first has become obvious for people. We want to test the lights on the ground. And in the course of testing a light set, if the light set blinks on you, don't let the optimist in you take over. Let the pessimist take over. A blinking light set is more than likely to fail in the air. Once it's in the air, it's harder to fix, or on the tree, wherever we put it. So we always want to test them. If there's a blinking, let's get to the bottom of that. It's probably a loose connection, but let's fix that while we're on the ground. Let's be safe. We say the three most important words in Christmas lighting are safety, safety, safety. If you're going to fall off a ladder, the family visiting you in the hospital for Thanksgiving, Christmas, that's not a holiday. Let's be safe about it. As we do this, let's map out. If we're decorating on the house, let's map out how we're going to do this, and let's make certain. You can't believe how often this mistake is made. Let's make certain we know where our power sources are and we're working appropriately from the power source. Okay, that's very important. All right, now as we go to hang the lights in National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, they use staples.
Yeah.
Well, there's coated aspirin now, and people really don't use staples anymore. Plastic clips for attaching your light sets to the house. Last thing of a high important nature, incandescent light sets are still used on indoor trees a lot. And my advice there is, if you see a burned out bulb on an incandescent light set in particular, replace it fast. 2 burned out bulbs on a 50 light set increases the demise by 39%. What happens during that course of time is when we don't replace them, extra voltage is put on the remaining bulbs. So we look at those bulbs. In the course of the extra voltage, initially they get brighter. Yeah. Then they get black, and then the party is over. You could have prevented that problem. Just replace them. Once the light set is blackened, if you wanted to save that light set, you would have to replace each of the bulbs. And I do mean each. If you only replace some, it won't help. So I hope that's good setup.
That's good. I remember when we started changing from incandescent bulbs, the little ones, to LEDs, and I was so thrilled because I didn't have to put 15 extension cords around my house in order to power the lights. The LEDs just don't use as much power, do they?
That's a fact. My favorite story in Detroit, on one of the Great Lakes. This is sad, the name escapes me, but I saw a home, beautiful mansion. They had 2 generators. Now I'm going back 20 years. 2 generators on the front lawn, hidden, just to power the extra current needed to power incandescent. Well, those days are gone. To your point, you're using 10% of what you used to use, to power a traditional light set.
Yeah. When I first read the information, I said, how can that be possible? They'd say, you can hook at least 10 of these together. 10 of them?
Well, I want you to know that because I love that. If you put your hand over an incandescent light set, all of that heat loss is that wasted energy. But that's all we could do until the LED was invented and properly commercialized.
That's good. Well, now let's talk about out here in New Mexico, we have a lot of wind, okay? And so if you're using like icicle lights on your house, any kind of light that can get a little loose and start shaking around, it'll knock some of them loose. It'll loosen them, and you've got to find the one that's out. You're not standing out there when it goes out, So you have to figure out which light it is, and that's hard. And you have a device that when I saw it demonstrated, I couldn't believe it. And I've been around a while. But I couldn't believe how simple it was to use. And so tell me about that.
Gladly. In 2001, we began to study light sets, as I said earlier. And if you fast forward that story, we developed an original Lightkeeper, but in 2004, we developed the Lightkeeper Pro for rapid light set repair, instant light set repair of the majority of all incandescent light sets. Fast forward that story, it took us till the year 2012, where we developed a tool for the repair of LED light sets. And this is the LED Keeper, and it's not needed as often. Incandescent light sets fail more often, but it still has its place in the market, and it's a very good place where we do well. But it's 2 tools, appropriately priced. You'll see these in the market again this year at $19.99 and up. You'll see the LED Keeper at usually no more than $29.99. These tools pay for themselves rather instantly. A little point worth mentioning, while I know our website is good, from day one, we've put our toll-free number on every package, easily seen by everybody, where we take the questions. And I don't put dummies on the phone. When you call here, you're going to get a really good answer. If it's not sufficient, a senior technician will come in and help. But we help you through the way. And yes, the light sets, by being outside primarily, they get banged around. They do get banged around.
Yeah. I saw a spot that you did with a news lady, I think it was around 2012 or so, and you just hooked the thing up, pulled the trigger until you could see which light was out. That's amazing. I have spent many hours going through strings of lights. Can you demonstrate
I'll
that
be
for us?
glad to. I'll be glad to demonstrate. Um, uh, Before doing it, I think this explanation
Oh,
is important. This is what an incandescent light bulb looks like on the inside. Okay.
very good.
So we are four different metals, but just remember when I go through the repair, remember that aluminum shunt. Okay. That bypass device was installed around 1980. And what that did is it allowed for the marketers to say, when one bulb burns out, the rest stays with it. Okay. But that was really good progress because previous to that, most of the sets ever made in Italy, there was no aluminum shunt. So when one bulb burned out, the set had to die. Okay. Well, what happens here, I'm going to show you the tool and I'm going to show you a failed light set whereby, and Linda, if you can, please, over here, whereby we're going to hold up this light set. Okay. And we already took out one bulb. And what we're going to do here is we're going to go to that one bulb and we're going to insert the Lightkeeper Pro into that socket, and it all goes like this. And we're going to start sending pulses of electricity into the light set. So we're going to work and we're going to work and we're going to work. And we did just fix this light set.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay.
And that does happen well over 50% of the time. What I'm going to do now is return the bulb that was in that socket. But what's more important, thank you. We'll do a voltage test in a moment. But if you see this one bulb right at where my V-neck is here, you see a burned out bulb. Okay, you can see it against my white shirt.
I can, yes.
Okay, that we just repaired. That aluminum shunt, that bypass device, we sent in thousands of volts. This is a UL listed product.
Yeah.
At milliamperage quantities. And it is milliamperage that causes harm in electricity far greater than voltage. Okay.
Yes.
But that's the first feature of it. The second is interesting as well. Just imagine that, let's use your example. Bulbs loose. Okay. So again, the set has to go out, right? Well, what we did here, I can't fix this loose bulb with the first method, but we've got power up until this bulb socket and then no power. Now that's a voltage detector. That science has been around almost as long as electricity, but that tells me the trouble is here. And then obviously it's a loose bulb, but that, thank you. The light set kicks off an EMF field, and I'm not going to be super technical today, but it's an electromagnetic field, and we sensed it, and then we sensed an interrupt.
Wow. Well, I work, of course, at a television station, and I know a lot about the antennas we use to send our signal out, the channels, so forth. But we use a lot of power, and 20,000 watt transmitters that are changed into 100,000 watts of effective radiated power. All these kinds of things, and you're working with a tiny amount. I have to admit, I can talk to you about all those big things with the TV channels, but I'm not an electrician. I know what you used, the little voltmeter there, but I just I had never even thought about doing that. You see that?
So three simple things.
Yeah.
The first thing, if you were to put your finger in here and pull the trigger, again, this is UL listed.
Yeah.
All you would feel is a static electricity shock. So maybe I come to your offices, I shake your hand, we shock each other. That's the exact feeling we send into the light set. The difference is when that pulse arrives at the errant bulb, it's like hitting that little bulb with a Mack truck.
Yeah, very good.
That's number one.
Hmm.
Number two, the principle of voltage detection. It's a nice feature that we add, but it's not always simple to use. We finally tuned it for Christmas lights. That we accomplished. Okay, so that's good. But it's it's the difficult feature. They love the quick fix. The third thing, this is important. You said electricians. If my technicians were on this call with us, we all laughed. The two most important calls that are difficult is when a person says, I'm an electrician or an engineer, and I know it's your product. It's not me that can't fix it.
Yeah,
And we slow
yeah.
it, we slow it down and we say, let's work with facts here. And there's very specifics on there, but it it never fails. There's never a year when we don't get challenged by that because this is different. This is if you're going to market. If I could have just a 100 light set, please, in a box. If you're going to market, thank you. Here we go. And if you're buying this in the marketplace, this happens to have come from Walmart. So if you're buying this for maybe $3, okay, you're getting 100 light sets of a UL listed product. It's got ocean freight and distribution costs. And here we are, thank you. And here we are with that light set. We're paying 3 pennies per bulb, okay? How high can you set the expectations, on that light set? You know what I mean? You say, well, some of them are failing. Well, we love, that's where we come in. But let's be real, most of them are working, you know?
Hmm. Great. Yeah. How tell me some differences though between LEDs and the older style bulbs, so people can kind of understand why you have to have a different device.
Okay, okay. So the reason for the two different tools, the sciences are different. For example, an incandescent light bulb doesn't care which direction you power it in. LEDs are only going to work in one direction. It is a light emitting diode. Diode, this is where the engineers can speak so much more accurately, but diodes only work in half cycles. Incandescent works in full cycles of alternating current. LEDs hate heat, incandescent generates heat. Moving from the non-technical, LEDs give beauty. LEDs give off a beauty that we never thought imaginable. Particularly, the highest grade LED would be RGB, red, green, blue. Once you put those 3 LEDs in one socket, you can generate almost any color under the sun, including white, different
Yeah.
grades of white.
Yes.
That's not known by most people, but that combination of red, green, blue, that's how they make LED TVs.
That's very good. I may use that if I have a chance to teach class again. I'll teach them because we teach them RGB all the time, red, green, blue. Our color television cameras depend on that, and we now in our building have replaced every one of our light bulbs with LEDs. All of our lighting is now
So,
LED. It saves a lot of money, and it saves also power, coal being burnt from a power plant that's across the border from us in Texas. And so, we feel pretty good about that. I want to ask you about how you should treat lights, strings of lights, when it's not Christmas time, when you don't have them stretched out. Where do you put them? Do you fold them? Can you wrap them around one of those cord coils? What's the best way to keep lights so you can use them again next year?
I'm with you. I'm gonna save your viewers money.
All right, good.
Just imagine if you took a little piece of cardboard, a little larger than this,
Okay.
okay? Take that piece of cardboard at the end of the year and put one rip on both sides
Ah,
and put I would put the female socket in first and do my wrapping, and then put the male socket in second. And then at the end of the year, I can work backwards, but I'm not going to have a tangled light set. Tangled
mm,
light sets, we hear about it. That frustration to consumers is off the charts important, but you're not going to, it's the nature of the PVC insulation and the copper inside. They're going to tangle. That's a good way to do it. And don't worry. We don't want to overthink this. Don't worry. Should I put them in the attic or in the basement? That doesn't matter. Just just remember, just gentle, but if you're obsessed with light set failure bothering you, and the majority are not, then you're a candidate for the better light sets. You know what I mean?
yes.
You're not, if light set failures is bothering you, and you're obsessed with $3 incandescent light sets, you're not going to win both battles. So anyway, that's good advice. I do want to say for your class, there's always that curveball question.
Ah, yeah.
You're gonna like this. They say, why, if it's LEDs, why are they failing? And the answer goes like this: they're really not failing for BMW and Mercedes-Benz. They're really not failing for hospitals and traffic lights.
Uh-huh.
They do fail in this industry. But again, if we're only going to reward the merchant for an LED light set, 100 light set, if we're going to give them less than $10, we can't expect the moon. You cannot have your expectations be unreasonable. You know, that's, you're paying under 10 cents a bulb. And so that, I say that for the class, the LED people do know what they're doing. When Christmas arrives, you say, okay, I like it. Give me 3,000 of them. Well, price matters.
Very good.
Price.
Let's spend the last few minutes here. I think we got about 2.5 minutes. Tell me how you came to develop the actual fixing device. What caused you to want to find something to fix these lights?
Thank you. Necessity is the mother of invention, in my case and many. 1999. Now remember, I start bringing in trees in 96. 1999, 100% of my production that year was defective. We didn't know it immediately. By all rights, we should have been out of business within 12 months. We plugged in the trees. The standards had been changed in the factory, unbeknownst to us at all. They were trying something new, and all the bulbs were brighter. We thought, all right, let's see what happens. Incandescent, you should get 2,000 hours out of a bulb. We had so many light sets, we didn't get 200 hours. They were overdriving the bulb.
Mm.
In the year 2000, at the very end of the year, it's a long story, I meet an inventor who's hungry and understands Christmas lights. Long story short, after months of working with him, I said to him, nothing concerns me more. This man wanted his Christmas tree stand made and other things. I said, nothing concerns me more than some kind of solution for light set failure. This man, through a series of Q&A, invented this product in 15 minutes.
Wow.
He turned to me and he said, John, why don't you just use a piezo ceramic? That's the activation of a piezo ceramic. Okay. I turned to him and I said, Rich, I would use it if I only knew what it was. That was my IQ in 2000.
Uh, so, and that has really helped you not only sell the device for people to fix their lights, but it helps you when someone calls and complains about the tree you sold them, and the lights aren't working. Is that correct?
That's a fact. The greatest testament to what we do is if you call any light set company to complain about their product or any pre-lit tree product, they'll tell you rather immediately, you probably need a tool. You know, and that's a little frustrating, but the recommendations are real, and the success within our little wheelhouse. I mean, we've sold over 5 million since the year 2004. So, but again, it's earned. You know what I mean? There's a lifetime warranty on everything we do, but for the batteries. So sometimes a unit will fail. The marketplace has been kind, and and we'll never bat 1,000 what we do, but it's been kind to us to say, no, we thank you.
Well, I thank you for speaking with me, and I just want to say that it's great to have an American company on here talking to me about Christmas, because that's our holiday as far as I'm concerned. And it's the best part is what you've done is you've saved us some of the time that we could be spending with our family, and instead we're out on a stepladder walking along, checking along the roof and all those kinds of things. So what you've done is something I think pretty amazing, and don't let anybody tell you that America's not the best country in the world. We have people like you who come up with a way to solve problems and save time and make life better for all of us. And so I thank you very much for being on the show today.
Don, I thank you. Very nice. Thank you.
And thank you for watching.